What is going on, guys? I want to welcome you to the first of many episodes for Rizzology. If you don't know me, my name is Nick Rizzo, and I am a videographer, photographer in the tri-state area throughout New York. I've been known to work with a lot of different fitness professionals, and I've been expanding my business into a lot of other realms as of late. So I want to thank you for being here. Anybody that already knows me that's tuning in, I want to thank the fuck out of you guys too, because I appreciate every single one of you guys for every week sharing the podcast, talking about the podcast, and just being an integral part for me to help grow it and grow myself. Because let's be honest, when I first started this, I was not comfortable in front of the camera, and I still am not. I'm still kind of figuring it out because I'm usually behind the camera. And talking to a lens versus talking to a person, especially right now where I'm used to podcasting with another individual every single time in the room with me, definitely is going to be a huge stepping stone. But I welcome that. I welcome the challenge. It's going to be great. And this show is going to be fantastic. So first and foremost, why did I decide to do a solo podcast? Now, it's not technically solo. It is solo because it's my name on it and I don't have any quote unquote stapled in co-hosts on the actual show name. But after doing a lot of soul searching, I guess you could say is the corny way to put it, and just thinking about how I wanted to move forward with podcasting, I loved working with the guys. I loved working with John on The Voice and Rizzles. I loved working with Tyler on the Brajol Brothers. And they both had very different ways of kind of veering off of what our initial goal was. So The Voice and Rizzles was brought out to interview and talk to fitness professionals, entrepreneurs, and just have an open conversation about anything. And we definitely hit that nail on the head with all of that. We were getting amazing traction from all of you guys, the constant shares, the constant feedback. And we really did love doing the show, and we still love doing the show. The only thing that became a challenge was scheduling conflicts when we decided to go different ways with careers, in terms of John switching careers. Couple of different pauses throughout the show kind of threw off our momentum. We were getting a ton of listens an episode. And then as you don't post consistently anymore, those views tend to dip off. And it's a natural thing. If people don't think you're going to be posting as much anymore, they don't get as interested in a new episode as they were at one point. So that podcast kind of paused, I guess you could say. We kind of paused it and we just kind of left it as it was. And then the Brajol Brothers, we started in I believe it was late June, and we ran it until the end of July, and we had 11 episodes. We were getting amazing traction. Tyler's a blast. Everyone loved our on-screen, on-voice, whatever you want to call it, chemistry with one another. However, it became a little bit straining, and I'll let Tyler, when he comes on this show, I'll let him discuss exactly what happened in his own perspective for the podcast. And here we are today. We're here with Rizzology. Now, why Rizzology? Ology is a basic knowledge and learning and experiences in terms in some ways. So for me, this is almost my way of showing everybody my world, my people, the people that I interact with constantly. So instead of it just being me every single episode, because this is just a one-off, this is the intro episode. This is just a one-off episode where most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, I will have somebody else on the show, whether that's a revolving co-host or whether that's just a guest that we have on just to speak to. I think that that's important to bring more dynamic and have other people in the room. As interesting as I guess I can be, I think it's more fun to talk to other people and show experiences and life through other people's eyes. And that's really why I'm doing this. This is meant to be an experience and an adventure for everyone to kind of embark on together. So as I was thinking about revolving co-hosts, I had a couple of people reach out to me about doing some regular segments. And they even wanted to start regular podcasts with me, which I'm flattered. Anytime somebody comes to me and they want to do a podcast, I'm flattered, because when you're looking at it from a third person, like a third party looking in, I guess it's a much different experience than when it's you. I feel like I'm interesting, but I don't know if I'm that interesting. But with how many people hit me up after the podcast ended and saying how disappointed they were that we're not doing the podcast anymore, and how they really want us to continue doing them, whether it's one way or another, I said, you know what? I got to bring something back. And I think by bringing this type of a format where it's me primarily, and then we have the other guys joining in as well, I think that's going to be huge. So kind of we're winging it in the beginning. We're figuring things out. So this week, this is the intro episode. Like I've mentioned a couple times now, this week we have Jamal coming on, who is going to be a revolving co-host. And if you don't know Jamal, you will definitely get to know him because he's going to be coming on regularly to do some segments and episodes with me. And then I have Andre Ferguson, big name in the fitness industry, amazing individual, a lot of energy. So that episode is going to be a blast. And then from there, we're going to start getting our regular guests and segments on. So if you're looking for specific things, there's no more episode 1, episode 2, etc. It's literally just going to be whatever we were talking about that day or whoever the guest was that day. So Jamal's segments are all going to be known as the Bat Cave. Jamal is Batman. We got to go in the Bat Cave and we got to talk to him about his experiences, his life, and just different topics that we're going to bounce off each other in different segments. It's going to be awesome. I believe when John Panetti comes on, we are going to call it The Voice and Rizzles. So it's going to be TVR. So if you want ones that are just specifically John and I, TVR is going to be your go-to episode segments on there. Tyler's going to come back on, and it's going to be the Brajol brothers. So we will have that listed on the titles when we put an episode out. And then there's also 1 or 2 other co-hosts that are kind of in the beginning stages of getting them involved. So once we have a better indication and example of what we want to do together, I will announce those guys or girls, who knows, anybody particular. I will announce them into the conversation for what segments we're going to do. So without further ado, I want to thank you for joining me on the first episode of Rizzology. Quick to the point, who I am, if you don't know me, is going to be coming up next on the next couple of trailing episodes to just give you an in-depth analysis of my experiences and why you should stick around to listen to more. But we have Jamal this week, we have Andre, and then we start our guests one by one. So I want to thank you for joining in. Peace out.